back. You're with us on Overdrive. The Volvo EX30, the latest 2025 model, is stylish, compact and completely filled with the latest tech. In fact, is this the luxury EV that you would want to enter the space with? Let's find out.
It's difficult to fit the Volvo EX30 into a particular segment or body type. It's about as large as any of these entry-level luxury cars, but can't quite be called a hatch and isn't SUV enough to be termed a crossover. But that also means that it's distinct, especially since it carries Volvo's newest design theme. The light design stands out the most on a fairly blank face, and the cooling vents have been smartly integrated into the look. Now, as with most electric cars, you do get a frunk, although I must say that it's quite small at just 7 litres. Now, considering the size of the EX30, the boot isn't very big, it's 318 litres, but I must say that whatever is there is quite practical. So, as you can see, the lip is pretty high and it's a squarish space, so you will fit a lot of stuff in it. And just to make things a bit easier, you can also lower this floor a little bit to give you a bit more space. Now, one of the things you always notice with Volvos is that they do things a bit differently, but with this EX30, with it being a completely new sort of take on what a Volvo can be, being from a born electric platform, they've really taken things to a different level. So what you do get, the sill itself is quite low, and the dash has this very minimal modern design that you find in many Volvos and generally also in many new cars. As you may have noticed, the EX30 doesn't have a driver's instrument cluster. Instead, it's taken quite a minimal turn with the speed and ADAS graphics integrated into the vertical 12.3-inch screen, somewhat like a Tesla, although a head-up display would have made life easier. The screen is the same Android-based system you see in other Volvo cars, but updated to include more functions and with a more modern interface than, say, the XC90. It's quite responsive and intuitive, but you only get Apple CarPlay, so Android users will have to set up their profiles in the car to access all of their data. Now, you might be wondering where the cup holders are, because they aren't around. If you don't want to carry cups, it becomes another different storage space. Now, given the size of the EX30, you may have assumed that it won't be a very spacious car, and that's quite true in the back seat. But there is good news on that front as well. So yeah, while overall space is not great, the floor is quite high. As you can see, I sit in a fairly knees up position. You can see the kind of thigh support I have. It's not very great for me. The bench is really not long enough for my needs. The EX30 is based on the SEA architecture that is also seen in many other cars in the Geely family. It packs quite a large 69 kWh battery pack, of which 64 kilowatts are usable. That gives it 480 kilometers of WLTP range. We think this should be good for 380 to 400 kilometers in the real world. The max DC fast charging speed is 175 kilowatt, while you can AC charge at 11 kilowatt. Now, getting in and driving the EX30 is as simple as the rest of the car feels so far. You put your key card here. If you have your phone linked to the app and so on, it's even easier. You just place your phone there and you're ready to go. You flick this selector into drive and that's it. The EX30 is powered by a single motor at the rear that makes 272 PS and 342 Nm. It's quite a brisk machine because of this, doing the 0 to 100 kmph run in 5.3 seconds. In keeping with that decluttered theme of the EX30, you have nothing in the way of drive modes or regen modes. You do get a one-pedal driving mode that will bring the car to a complete halt, but it's not as strong as some other EVs that seem to add a lot of resistance to the system. Without one-pedal driving, you have a standard light regen level. With all of these born electric EVs, the one thing that I notice is just how cohesive and together they feel, for want of a better word, and the EX30 again feels that way. So you have this very calm, composed kind of nature to it when you're going along, even at the speeds that we're doing about 90 on a highway. So it just feels really well tied down, very solid. And I must say, with these 19-inch wheels and the heft of this car, Volvo has gotten the ride pretty right for our conditions. The Volvo EX30 is locally assembled, which should make it well priced. which we think should be under rupees 50 lakh. The small Volvo may be missing some features and the rear seats may not be the most comfortable, and it's not an SUV. But there are a few cars like it in the market that don't fit the box. This in itself adds a good dose of charm. It also looks great, has a plush feeling on the move and good range.
With that, it's a wrap on this week's edition of Overdrive. But remember, you can stay in touch with the team through our various social media platforms. You can write to us on YouTube as well. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.